Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. We are here, Oki in London, and we've got, I'm still going to say new, because you're still quite new to the job, the new Winmau or Nodor Group CEO, Tom Brown. Tom, first of all, how are you enjoying the new role?
It's fantastic. I mean, I think the industry of sport and darts is so fun to be in. I think the team that we have at Winmau and Red Dragon is phenomenal. Loads of experience, lots of excitement, a huge winning mindset. Obviously, the entire sport is in massive growth. So you put that together, a team that has a winning mindset in an industry that is in growth, and it's certainly an exciting place to be.
Look, you've worked in many high-profile industries. I was having a look, Tom, House of Fraser, and so on.
Yep.
How does it compare?
Yeah, it's definitely different, but the thing is, the fundamentals are the same. I mean, we are focused on the consumer and the players, and we're focused on bringing satisfaction through high-quality products, through really influential and interesting marketing and communications, and of course bringing a lot of fun and I suppose development to our team at Nodor.
Obviously, everyone's known of the two products. I say the two brands in Winmau and Red Dragon for a long time. When you walked through the door, was it better, worse, or as expected, so to speak? The brands.
Definitely better. I mean, there's such an unbelievable heritage here. I mean, you mentioned if it's House of Fraser or TomTom or any of the companies that I work for. I mean, I worked for a company called GN that celebrated being 150 years old when I was there, and now we have Nodor that is across the two brands 106 years old, and this really is a phenomenal business that's built over time with huge amount of heritage in both brands, and it's known for quality, it's known for being competitive, it's known for working with the best players, and it's a really exciting place to be.
Today, full of brilliant announcements. We'll start at the top, a new 10-year deal with the PDC. How important was it for you to get that done and dusted? Because we've seen, like you say, it's a competitive market. There will be other brands and companies wanting the spot that you've got currently. Yeah. How important was it for you to get that all tied up and say to everyone, we're going nowhere?
Yeah, very important. But I think it was very mutual as well. I mean, our products, our Winmau boards, are the best boards on the market, and the Blade X now that we've announced today, of course, is the most premium, most advanced board ever launched. So I think for the PDC, hopefully it was a very easy choice for us. Of course, we have a history working with the PDC very well. We share the goal of growing the sport together. So yes, this is a commercial deal for both of us, but actually what it's all about is how are we growing the sport through JDC, amateur, all the way up to the elite level. That's what we share in terms of a common goal, and delivering high quality events by the PDC or high quality products from Winmau. That's what we're really focused on.
Well, you touched on the pathway quite there really well. Like you say, the JDC, then you've got the ADC, the Amateur Dart Circuit, the Motor Super Series, then into the PDC. That is a complete pathway that you must be delighted with.
Absolutely. I mean, you just see the players coming through now, and the talent that's coming through has been enabled by that pathway, and it's great that darts has got that. I mean, you see this in most other professional sports, and now we see it in darts. And I think now that system is in place to deliver some of the highest quality players around the world, you know, this really allows the sport to continue to grow, because as we said earlier, you know, the sport is in hyper growth. It's growing in the UK, it's growing outside of the UK. More people are playing every year than ever before, and that's really exciting.
We've had obviously two new boards released recently by Winmau. We had the 360 and now the X. Is it important for the brand to know, hang on, this is the premium TV board and this is the premium board that we play with on floor tournaments? Is that a nice dynamic to have, that there's two really great products?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're continually pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And I think, you know, with the Blade X board, we have done exactly that. But with our range of blade, I mean, Winmau has been now making blade boards for 30 years. And 30 years ago, when the first blade board came out, it completely changed the game in terms of quality, engineering, craftsmanship, performance. And that's really what blade is all about. But we want to make sure there's a blade for everybody. So yes, of course, you know, price does play a factor. So we want people to have access to buying the Blade 6, which is our most affordable, high-quality board, all the way up to now the Blade X, which is our most premium board that has ever been launched.
From Blade 6 triple core to Blade X, What goes into making it better and developing it to what we've got now?
Yeah, great question. I mean, each board delivers additional technology, but really Blade X is in every area better than any other board that we've produced before, any other board that's been out there in the market. But if we talk about one particular trend, and that is let's say the length of points that players are using. So customization is a really big thing for players now. People like to customize, the pros like to do it, the juniors like to do it, amateur, everyone likes to customize. And what that means is, let's take these longer points, is that, that puts more pressure on the board. So Blade X now, with its hardwood backboard, which is narrower, actually has fibre length, which is 13% longer than fibres of any other board. And what that allows us to do is that allows the longer point to go in without actually damaging the overall board. So 5.5 million fibres in every board. The fibres are longer in Blade X than on any other board, and that really gives that quality, durability and reliability that we've been talking about today.
Well, while you're talking on points, obviously quite a topical subject that we see players use ultra aggressive points and damage boards quite considerably. We've seen it over the years that it's coming. I know the PDC have changed the rules slightly, but people are still using them. With the Blade X, does that now eliminate that players don't need to use these hyper aggressive points on them?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, players can use whatever they want, but the quality of our board means that they certainly don't need to use these aggressive points. But should they do it, the quality of the board, the quality of the Kenyan sisal that goes into the board, the depth of the fibres, all of these things mean that the board will stand the test of time and will really show that durability, and that's why we put a 5-year warranty on it. We're really standing behind the quality of these boards.
Well, yeah, the 5-year warranty has caused quite a storm. What goes into the warranty then? Because people are like, what does that mean? If it's bashed up after 4.5 years, I can change it? What goes into the warranty?
Yeah, good question. Look, it's the same with other warranties that you'd see out there. Of course, normal wear and tear. I mean, if you're an unbelievable darts player, as I know you are, Phil, and you're hitting that triple 20 50 times
maybe.
a day, if that happens a lot, of course, the board will show over time some wear and tear, as would other boards. Now, this board will go longer before showing that wear and tear, but wear and tear is normal. However, if there's any fault in the board, if anything goes wrong in the board over time, for up to 5 years, you're able to give us a call and just explain to us what's gone wrong. We'll have a quick evaluation and then we'll swap the board out.
How important was it for you as well to get it on sale as soon as? Because we've seen beforehand launches, people see it, and they can't get their hands on it for 4 or 5 weeks. We know it goes on sale Thursday.
That's right.
We know there's been shipping issues, not just in darts, just in full stop in the world, the way the world works. How important was it to get a good stock in level so no one was disappointed?
Yeah, I mean, very important. I think you're a consumer, so am I. I mean, when you see something and you like it, you want to buy it there and then, and we want to make sure that we had that moment. But of course, this board now becoming the official board of the PDC, we wanted to launch it on the big stage. Yeah. So you got the event on Thursday. I think this is the perfect day to launch, and something wasn't quite right about being able, a consumer or customer or player, being able to buy one today and actually use it before the Masters. So I think to have it launch on the day that the Masters goes, I think that really comes together. But talking about things not being available or delays, the growth of this industry has just been so huge. I mean, more and more people are playing darts than ever before, and it's down to manufacturers like us to make sure that we are able to keep up with that demand. We are making sure that we're expanding our manufacturing capabilities. We're able to make more boards, more darts, more surrounds, more accessories than ever before, and that's our job, to make sure that we keep up with demand.
I'm guessing if you really wanted to, this could have perhaps been launched for the World Final. However, is there something special about the Blade going hand in hand with the Winmau World Masters?
Absolutely. I mean, this was a choice, and we wanted to make that choice. It's a great question, Phil, and I think we wanted to make that choice, and I think there's so much going on with the Worlds anyway. Now, we did want to launch our Winmau switch points around then, so we did, and that broke through, and it's the first time now that we bring switch points onto Winmau. But to have such a huge, iconic launch of our next Blade product, really, this was the only place to do it.
I'm going to talk about the Masters in a minute, but you brought up the switch point, which is a nice bit, because the question that comes up on social, obviously, I look at it the same as all you guys do, is that's great, it's in 3 or 4 sets of darts. Yeah. How long before I can have it in my dart and this dart and so on? So how close are we to almost being a full range of switch points in all Winmau products?
Yeah, I mean, we will always do what the consumer wants. Now, we have a very specific mindset on this, because I think we always need to deliver what the consumer wants, but we also need to think about what does the consumer want that they haven't thought of yet. Because I don't think any consumer was sat at home yesterday saying, I wish Winmau would launch a really, really premium dartboard that has all of these great features. But now they've seen it, I guarantee they're sat there going, I can't live without buying the new Blade X. So it's our job, and the job of our fantastic manufacturing team and our design team and our marketing team, to continue to innovate ideas that the consumer hasn't yet thought of, the players haven't yet thought of. But in addition, we always have to listen to what the players want. And as you say, the players do want more and more customization, both on points and flights. And it's our job to say, right, what is our solution to their requirements? So yes, our switch points on our Winmau products was a first step, I would say. I would definitely expect us to take further steps across both brands.
Yeah, because obviously players say that with the amount of suitcases that go missing in the current world, that they can take the points out and they can put their darts in their hand luggage. So it's like peace of mind knowing that, okay, if my case goes missing, I've still got my darts.
Absolutely. But now darts is a game of marginal gains. Yeah. Right, just like with cycling, where it's all about the aero on the bike, or it's the lycra that you're wearing, or whatever. This is a game of marginal gains, and people want to see if they change that flight or they change that point, is their game slightly better? And I really love that level of experimentation. I think that's fantastic for consumers and players to really think, well, can I be a bit better if I change this? And wanting to try new things. And the demographic of the sport has changed so much. I mean, 10 years ago, the majority of players were over 30. And now the majority of players are under 30. And we know that under 30 demographic, they are more open to experiment, to try new things. And I really think that comes through in how they configure their darts.
Well, it must work, because trying to get MVG to change something on his darts, hard work. And then he rocks up at the Worlds with the new switch point again, like the darts geeks and fans. I clocked it straight away. I was like, oh, he switched. So to get him to switch must be a massive thing.
Absolutely. I mean, what we have at our office in Bridgend is the famous, Winmau Red Dragon flight room. And all of our players, Luke Humphreys, Michael Van Gerwen, GM Van Veen, or Johnny Clayton, or whoever, they come into the flight room, they sit down with our head of manufacturing and design, a guy called Lee, and his team, and they really spend time, they spend hours in the flight room trying different configurations, trying different points, different barrels, different flights, to get these players completely comfortable and to give them the confidence that they can go out and win.
Winmau World Masters is only a few days away now. Last year, it was brilliant to have what I call the old format back, the thing that made the Masters the Masters.
Yeah.
How excited are you to see it again this year, and just that continued growth and just having that tournament back on the calendar? How important is that?
Yeah, huge. I mean, I've not been. So this is my first time to go to it live. So I've heard it's amazing. I can't wait to go and see it. I think it's a phenomenal idea from the PDC and Vince and Fiona to bring back the Winmau Masters as part of the partnership with the PDC. So I'm super excited about that. But I think that there's this moment where, it really starts in October, November, and then coming into the Worlds, there's this huge surge of interest in darts. And people want to play it. They play it in the pub. They buy a dartboard. They get some new darts. They get some more points or flights or whatever it is, and they want to play. And then as we come into the new year, what's very important is they've got something to keep that momentum. And now we've got this tournament at the end of January, which means that people that got into the sport in December and early January, they've got another moment to see their favourite players play, and again to keep that interest and that momentum alive going into Premier League.
Coming into the rest of obviously 2026, what can we expect from both brands? And like you say, always creating new things, making sure the consumer's happy. What can we expect from the two brands, as I call them?
I mean, we have an unbelievable roadmap ahead of us, and of course, I would love to tell you all about it today, Phil, but I can't.
Of course you can. You do.
I know. But when we do come, of course, as always with you, you'll be the first person that we call. But we have an aggressive roadmap, because what we know is that our players, they're hungry for innovation. What is it that can give them the edge? What is it that can give them that marginal gains? And we're working on new products, we're working on product technology, and of course we continue our expansion into technology with the acquisition of Auto Darts, which takes us into that auto scoring space, and that's again something that we're really, really focused on.
We're going to have their own, like, is it still going to stay as the brand is, or is it going to be rebranded into something like the Winmau scoring? option then.
The amazing thing about auto darts is there is a huge community there. It is one of the most accurate, if not the most accurate, auto scoring products available, delivering 99.2% accuracy now, which is proven. So it is a phenomenal product with a huge following and a massive amount of users. So for now, what we're doing is we're supporting that business. Because we're obviously, we're a large organisation, but we're supporting the growth of that business, and then of course, over time, let's see what comes.
What areas are important for you as a brand to grow into? Is it North America, South America, Asia, or Australia, New Zealand? What areas are key focus for you?
Yeah, super boring answer, Phil. The reality is we want to go where the players are passionate about the product. So we see it in countries, of course, the Netherlands, Germany, other countries around Europe. We see it in Korea, we see it in China, we see it in Australia. We see it to an extent in the US. The US is starting. Canada's very into darts. So we are now very focused on giving energy, attention, and putting resources into countries where the players are very, very passionate about the sport. But that does include North America, but there's just a different level of maturity in each of these markets. Of course, the UK is the most mature market. Netherlands and Germany, not far behind. And then you take the US as a much more immature market in terms of how people think about darts and the interest in darts. But there are millions of players of darts in the US. It's the same with China. So these are really countries that we're thinking about, how to take our next step.
And you touched on the younger demographic. Obviously, we say that, I hate using other players' names, but it is the Littler effect. He's brought this younger demographic because of his age. People can relate to him.
Yeah.
How important is it to keep those youngsters engaged? Because obviously they can't throw a 5-year-old can't throw a completely dart with a point and so on because of safety and stuff. So how important is it that we create products for that demographic as well as not just fully flown dart players?
Yeah, I think what will happen over time now is there's really a junior movement. So we see it with the JDC, we see it with the Winmau academies or Red Dragon academies all over the UK and other countries, and that's really that's giving a forum for these juniors to come and play. And I think that's really, really exciting step. That it's not new, but it's really driving a lot of buy-in into the category. I think the other thing that's very exciting is we mentioned auto darts and auto scoring. One of the big problems that especially I have young kids, and my 7-year-old struggles with the scoring. So anything that can help him with the maths and the scoring is an advantage. So there's a couple of things happening. The first thing is, of course, technology helps, and the other thing is a lot of brands are going into schools and actually taking darts into schools to help as part of maths and arithmetic. So these are just really, really exciting steps, and the sport is now reaching or extending into areas far beyond watching a couple of guys or whomever play a bit of darts on TV. This really now is becoming a movement, which I think is so exciting.
Where is the ceiling for the sport?
Well, I would say at the moment we're far off it. We internally have this phrase, which is we're just getting started, because if we look at the UK is definitely the maturest country, and it's still seeing exponential growth. And then you look at other markets, take the US, or you can take China, Australia, wherever. It's an incredibly immature market, but you just look at the addressable market. Take China, for example. How big could the sport be in China? Or, we just see the numbers coming out of Germany and the Netherlands, and it's massive viewership, amount of people playing, and indeed amount of people buying our product. So how far can this go? I think we've definitely got a very, very long way before we find out.
Tom, absolute pleasure catching up with you here, Oki in London, mate. Thanks you
so
much for your time.
All right, lovely. Thanks. Cheers.
To change your